Hello everyone, this is Maurice from the Triple M Model Railroad. As we have here, we have actually a GG1 from Broadway Limited, and this is another model for repair. This came from Willis Hobbies, and yeah, there is an issue with power. The client came to me and he says the locomotive just doesn't work anymore. He said he was running it and it just stopped. And so we're going to take a look at it and see what is actually going on with it. And also, we're going to fix this coupler here. The coupler's been kind of dislodged from it. There's also a missing coupler as well, but I haven't seen it in the box, so um, I guess the client may have it or may have lost it or may have never gotten it. Because I believe the client bought this model secondhand. He didn't buy it brand new. This is an old, one of the first GGs that I believe Broadway Limited had came out with. It's the first Paragon with the quantum QSI decoder. And, the decoder, from what I remember, were pretty decent. They were pretty good runners, but they were very difficult to configure. I didn't have too much of a problem configuring when I actually had a quantum programmer. What happened with the programmer was the programmer went bad before the decoder. So unfortunately, quantum the company that made quantum decoders went out of business. So let's see if we can actually get this model running. All right, so I just got right to it and started taking things apart, and I found the culprit. Or I believe I found the culprit, and it's actually this piece right here, or this wire connector. These two ends was totally basically disconnected from the contacts that are in the trucks. So that explains why there was no power going to the decoder. So now the fun part is to try to get the worm gear cover off, so I can actually take this thing apart and actually solder these connections again. And also, this is a little, if you can see it, this wire is a little frayed, or the cover came off. So I'm going to put some shrink wrap over it to protect it as well. And I may check the other one too, just in case. I don't see any issues with that one. The one up over here. I got to take that plate off. And there's just one screw right here. Screw right there. And this plate just comes off. And I'll take a look at it and see. But first, I got to see how I'm going to get this worm gear out. I mean, the cover for the worm gear, so it actually is going to come out. So, be right back. Alright, so what I had to do was I had to take the engine assembly or motor assembly off, take this make-believe cab, take this off to get access to this. Now, what's holding this in place is, if you can see, if I can get the light to shine on there a little bit, there's a little screw right here that holds the chassis in place. Not the chassis, excuse me. The truck in place. It holds the truck in place. So I have to remove this. Um, Actually, this is part of the um, mechanism for the. I mean, that holds the. Um, I can't even think right now. It holds the dry shaft in place. Excuse me. Yeah, so I have to pull this off to actually get access to this. So that's going to be interesting. I can't see it being that hard. It's plastic on metal. So, yeah, so that's what I'm going to have to do. And then I can pull the truck off, and then I can actually solder those wires. All right. It actually comes down to I still have to take the worm gear. I take the worm gear off. So I took the cover off, as you can see, to have access to that screw. That's the only way I'm going to get to that screw. I tried to do the shortcut way, but there's just not enough room. So it wasn't too much of a problem popping this out. So let's continue. Well, believe it or not, I'm actually doing something a little bit more involved, and there's a reason why for this. Now, I actually got the model to power up, but there is no motor or wheel movement on either of the axles. And the more power I put to it, then eventually the lock program will shut itself off. Now I reset the decoder, and still basically the same thing. But I did notice something interesting though. It appears that the wheels were binding up for some reason, especially with this axle here. And I found out why. Now let's take a look at this. All right. Is this the one? Let me see. Yeah. See that? That. See that crack? Yeah, this gear is cracked. And what's happening is that it's actually this was the center axle, and this is where a lot of the stresses are when it comes to the power going through the trucks or being distributed through the trucks. And yeah, this is not good. It explained why this sometimes freewheel and then sometimes this binds up. Yeah, because that's what was happening. So what to do? I mean, I can't fix this. This is no way I can fix that. Yeah, there's no way I can actually do anything with this. But what I'm going to do, instead of being on the center axle, I'm going to put this at the very end. That's what I'm going to do. So I'll put that at the very end. I also lubricated this too as well. And then I'm going to take this, the good one, I'm going to put this in the middle. Move my hand so I can see. Make sure this is all worky. Okay, that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to lock. It's supposed to work in unison. It's supposed to all work in unison. So yeah, once I get the wheels in place, also you got to make sure that the wipers go where it needs to go too. Yeah, because you got Let me show you the wipers. As you can see, these are the wipers here, the copper contacts. That you have to make sure that is all fitting, between, you know, between the wheels. All right, so I'm gonna put this back together, and I'm gonna see what happens. Hopefully, it will relieve some of the stress, and this doesn't bind up again. Um, I don't know if that's going to really fix the problem, but we'll see. All right, we're back with the GG1, and we are going to replace the gear, the cracked gear in question, or gears. There's actually two of them. On one in this truck, as you can see here, and one in this one. And these are the replacement axle wheel set we got from eBay. And then the client had got this for me. Because this was actually the last one that I've seen on eBay thus far. So we was lucky. Actually, more as the client was lucky. But yeah, we're going to change these out. It's going to be fairly easy to do. Well, not really that easy because you got these wipes. I mean, the wheel, you can see the copper contacts. They're kind of tricky to get installed without bending them. So, not impossible, but as you can see, before I had actually the cracked wheel was actually in the center, and that was causing a problem. But I put it on the side there to see maybe it'll be less stress, but there's no such thing. It still doesn't work correctly, so it still binds up. And also the gears in this one are white compared to this one is black. Doesn't make that much of a difference. I think it shouldn't. As long as the gear ratios are the same, we are good. So let's get started. One of the first things you want to do is to inspect the product that you get. And thus far, it looks like it's in good condition. All right. There's no cracks. It's a little pitted here, I notice. But we'll see how that works. I'm going to put this in the model. And I'm just going to have to adjust it to make sure that the wheel wipes fit the way they should. Yeah, so, yeah. All right. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to make sure the wheel wipes are in its proper place, and then we'll seal it, and that's done. And then we'll go to the next one and do the same thing. Okay, we have the other truck I'm taking apart, and you can see the other culprit. And this one, since this is white and the gear is white, you can clearly see that this thing is split right down the middle. Yeah, so I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference if it's white or black. And we're going to take a look at this one here. It's kind of hard to see, the black, to see if they're damaged. If you're really looking, this one, okay. This one got the same little, I gotta get this thing to focus, little divot. I think that's just a flash, or more or less when during assembly they had to take these plastic gears off the It's like you know, like when you work on models, they have these little trees where these plastic parts are connected to. Um, yeah, it's been cut and shaved down, so that's all it is. But it's in good shape. And we're gonna take this off. Put this down here. I'm gonna take this off. Real, not complicated at all. And then we're gonna put. Make sure I put the right one. I'll put the. Okay, put this in its place. Oops, got it backwards. And that's it. Okay, so all I gotta do is just close it up, and we're good. And we're gonna test it and see how this works. One thing I have to mention, you have to make sure that the bearings, um, this flat part here, is facing up. Just a quick note, so that the when you seat this part of the truck on top, truck assembly, it will actually fit snugly. You gotta make sure both sides. I gotta check this one again. I wasn't paying attention, but just gotta make sure that this is facing up to eliminate problems. All right, we have the trucks fully assembled, the model on the track, Nimitz the shell, and we're gonna test this out and see how this works. So we're gonna set this. I'm gonna put the throttle up a little bit. I'm gonna put it to forward. Lights come on, and that's forward. And oop. It's not perfect, and what I mean by that is this power pack um, doesn't have a lot of amperage. I mean, basically, it's only 1.2 amps. So, and this has some pretty hefty motors. This has two motors, so there's a lot of current draw. But it works. I guarantee when I take this to the hobby shop, it's gonna work beautifully. And I'm gonna have a video on that too. But it's basically successful, so we're looking good here. We're actually looking very good here, far better than what it was before. So I'll show this at the hobby shop and how it performs, and we'll wrap this thing up. I found out what was wrong with the GG. Now I actually put the model on the track and I tested it, and I found out that there was still thumping in the gearing. So I'm like, okay, I changed the gears, I changed the wheels, and still have the same issue. So I took them all apart again, and actually this center wheel or axle was the issue. And what's happening is this, see how I'm turning it by hand? It's not supposed to turn by hand like this. So what was happening, that this gear was freewheeling, and it was binding up with the other gears in the trucks. So that was causing this thumping noise. So now we're going to go to the model and we're going to actually test this out. Apply power to the track. And then we're going to put this, should be in reverse. Let's see. No more thumping. So it is working properly now and is ready to go back to the client. And I thank John for actually filming for me. I got a cameraman finally. So everybody have a good evening or a good day and peace out.